of him coming back, we found this house, and it's just so perfect for our needs.
Yeah.
You mean you're all going to live together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's a house that was converted about 7 years ago into 2 self-contained flats.
That's good. Because for ages you couldn't decide anyway whether it was the right thing. I mean, it's always difficult to move in with someone else, no matter who it is.
So you'll each have your own quarters?
We've got our own front door. Each flat has 3 bedrooms, lounge, bathroom and kitchen. So we'll be downstairs creating all the noise, and he'll be upstairs being all quiet.
You hope.
I hope.
And does he get on well with your kids?
Oh, yes. Well, the 4 of us, really, that's all we have, you see. So it seems silly for him to have a 3-bedroom bungalow and me to have a 3-bedroomed house.
Double expense.
Exactly. I mean, we can live much cheaper now without a mortgage. It's going to be fine. I'm sure it is.
Not only that, but when you have got just that number of you, I mean, you know where the confines of your family ends. We all do. And if those are the people you want to be with, why not?
Well, it was very important to me to have him there because he said, no, I'm not going to be a burden to you.
Yeah.
Well, as I'm the only child, if he was taken ill, then of course I would look after him. And
it would be more of a burden if it wasn't.
It would be.
If you had.
It would be so easy having all my problems under one roof. That's what I've been looking for.
And you'll see more of him.
Yes.
The children will see more of him. And you get to the stage, I did it myself, where you bitterly regret the odd days, weeks and months when you didn't take advantage of parents' company.
I think really what changed his mind about moving was we found this house and it's about 200 yards away from where he is now. So he can still go to his community centre and his whist drives and out with his brother in the evening.
I think that makes a lot of difference because they do say that moving house is very stressful. It's next to things like divorce.
Yes.
It comes very close. And I think it's often moving to a new area and having to get used to a whole...
I'm moving back to the area that I lived in before I was married anyway, so it's good for me. And he's not moving at all, really.
You're right, Sarah. There's a list of stressful situations, and moving house is about second or third, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
In your whole life,
that
is one of the most stressful things.
And going on holiday is another. Not quite as hard.
All the pleasures are apparently so stressful.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's change, isn't it? It's total change and reorganisation and uprooting.
It's going to affect the children more than anything because they're being taken out of the house that they were born in, everything that they know, and being moved to another area, although they know the area very well.
Will they have to change schools?
Well, for that reason, I'm keeping them in their same school, and I shall take them to school and collect them. Because I think it is important.
Well, I've added the water. That's half a pint of water to the whole mix. And 2 tablespoonfuls of oil. That's right, isn't it?
Well, where are the instructions?
Well, you read them to me there. Look, soak...
Oh, soak the contents for 10 minutes. That's right. Or in stock made with lotus brown stock.
That's right. I put that in. That's this stuff, Cherry.
Then 2 tablespoonfuls of cooking oil.
It smells quite nice, actually. I've done that.
The whole thing smells lovely.
It does, doesn't it? I've not done this before at all. It's a packet mix that I got at the Ideal Home for beef burgers because my children keep wanting them.
And you haven't made them?
No, I thought we could try them.
Oh, yes.
What do you think?
But you know, what does it mean by kibbled onion? Kibbled? What does kibbled mean?
Not kibbled onion, is it?
Yes, kibbled onion. Protein rusk, kibbled onion.
Kibbled, perhaps it means fried a little or chopped up or something.
know.
Anyway, you make them into sort of beef burger shapes after we've soaked them and just fry them. Like
That's
that.
cold.
Well, it was hot just now and you made me switch it down because it was smoking because we weren't ready.
I'm so used to Sylvia nagging me in the kitchen, I'm going to nag you.
No, don't nag
So
me.
you've got tomato powder in there, mixed herbs, vegetable protein,
The thing is...
iron, calcium.
Yeah,
Very
I wouldn't
good.
normally do this. I make my own beef burgers, but this is quick. You know, you can do this very quickly.
I'm surprised that it's so separate. Each thing is so separate. You obviously mustn't make it too wet.
Well, no, you have to add the right amount, I suppose.
Yes.
But I was quite pleased to find something that I could quickly
I don't think
mix
you've
up.
got it on.
Oh, Cherry, I have got it on. It's on 3. I don't want it on boil, do I?
I don't know.
That'll be all right anyway, like that.
It'll fry.
And
But
they'll
what
fry
is-
up in a
what-
minute.
what
5
are-
minutes, is it?
5 minutes. What about soya grits? Are you putting those in?
No, that's another packet I got. That I will just add for protein to other things.
Do you know, I've never cooked with soya flour.
Haven't you?
I haven't used it in cooking at all.
You should use the soya flour with your rice and stuff because it makes a perfect protein.
Does it?
Yes, apparently.
And it's a nut replacement in biscuits. Well, does it taste nutty?
I must do. I haven't used it in...
And
I think these
topping?
are quite new. what I'm going to do, Cherry, is put this sauce on the top. I've fried some...
Oh, that's more like it.
Some garlic and 2 tablespoonfuls of olive oil.
Yeah.
I do this particular sauce on top of beans and all sorts of things.
So what sauce
I had
is
it in
that?
this. Well, it's my tomato and onion and garlic sauce. I don't know.
So what are you doing? Just frying
Well,
the
just
onion?
fry the onion and the garlic like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I rub a can of tomatoes through a sieve because I don't like to have the bits in it. And then just add the tomatoes.
Do
to that.
you crush your garlic or do you chop it?
I just chop it and fry it
Yes,
very
I-
brown
I-
because I like it like that. There we
There's
are.
one way of cooking garlic that Vida always tells me that doesn't, so that you don't smell of garlic after you've eaten it.
Really?
Yes, and I don't know how you do it, whether you put it in whole or whether you grate it, but there is one particular way. She said if you do that, people will never say to you you've been eating garlic.
Do you think Julian will like these beef burgers? I don't know why they break up.
I don't know. He does. He says to me he doesn't cook packaged things because I did buy. As I say, I've never cooked. I did buy a packet of burgers once, and he said he'd rather do his own.
Oh, look, Cherry.
Well, I
Mine
tell you.
stick together.
Oh, you are naughty. Now what have you
It's you.
done?
I don't usually
Don't you
do
have?
this.
Don't you put an egg in it or something?
I did exactly what it
I
said.
tell you what to do. Make a hash. Make
All
a
right,
great
well,
big
squash
hash.
it all together.
Yes, squash it together. It'd be nicer.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, they were going to go in wrong. This would be wonderful.
Well then I think you've done something wrong.
I
This
haven't.
all looks too.
Read it again, and I bet you find I've done it exactly right. Well, the sauce is
You didn't-
wonderful anyway.
It smells nice. I should turn it. It looks like it, what was it I made the other day? Potato latkes that Sylvia said looked like hash. This looks more like hash. You
Well, I
have
don't
to.
know
Have you
why-
put 2 tablespoonfuls of cooking oil in
Yes,
as well?
yes.
Well, you know what you haven't done.
What?
I don't think you've mixed it together enough.
I have. Look, that's as
Half
much
a
as-
pint of cold water.
Yes,
Did you put
I
in
did
there?
that first. You do it, then you make one and see if yours sticks.
What's this dulse? That's interests me more while I'm doing this.
That's to put on soups if you want a fishy flavour, because it's seaweed, ground up
It's
seaweed.
very good for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Contains the minerals
iodine
from the
and stuff.
oceans. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you put any of this in?
No, we don't want fish burgers, do we? There's a beef burger.
dear. Well, that's not
Gracious
beef.
me.
It's all imitation, isn't it? Right, let me have a go at this.
Well, turn this over. Come on, if you're so clever.
Where's the... where I have to have an overall when I'm cooking. I don't want to ruin my blouse. All right. Oh, it's
See?
ridiculous. Look at it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, you're ruining
It looks like... You can make a lovely cottage pie with this.
Perhaps we should
Put
put
a
the
bit of
tomatoes on the top and have a stew.
Lovely.
Should we do that then?
No, if I were you, I'd leave well alone. I'd fry that for a bit. And then perhaps mash up some potatoes. Shall I taste a bit?
Yeah, well, go on then. Smells nice.
Tastes nice.
Does it really? Let me
Not
taste
bad
it.
at all. It's cold.
It can't be cold. It's boiling up. Wait, it's quite tasty.
Marion, if I mitre the corner of the Petersham like that and then hang the tassel on the end,
Yeah.
and then I don't know how long it'll be. I'll just make it long enough to reach the mantelpiece.
Yes.
It's a bell pull.
I see. Thank you.
For my Edwardian sitting room, it's a bell pull.
So that when you go and you hear the clang of the bell, that's what you have to do.
No,
rather
the
than
maid.
answer it.
Yes, that's right. The maid comes.
Yes.
This is Nurse's Petersham, and somebody gave it to me, but actually you can buy it because although nurses are issued with it, is it according to hospitals or grades or
Well,
something?
yes,
colours?
they have different colours. You know, for student nurses, some have red and some
Yeah.
have grey and some have grey.
Well, evidently you can buy it by the metre because some nurses like to keep fresh looking and
Yes.
have new ones.
Yes.
Although they get issued, their issue ones don't last the period of
No.
however long they have to wear them. So it's nice to know you can get it because it's useful.
And that seems to be the right weight for it too, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it
I
is.
don't
It's
suppose
nice
you can
and
find
firm.
the original material now.
No, well, I wouldn't bother because, I mean, this is available.
Yes.
And the wallpaper is a mixture of colours with pink and grey and green and so on.
Look lovely.
But what I was talking to Marion about, you see, the other week, was doing a cross-stitch design above the mitre, just above the tassel. And you see, I haven't tried it, but I saw some cross-stitch done on ordinary fabric, not on a linen or, a canvas, where you put a piece of canvas on, then you work your cross-stitch, and then you ease out the threads and you're left with the cross-stitch.
Sounds terribly clever
Yes.
because it would be difficult to do cross-stitch without the canvas.
It would
on
be
that.
impossible.
I was just going to say that
I
must
wouldn't
be
be able
very,
to do it.
very difficult to work on.
I wouldn't be able to do it without. But anyway, now, Marion, what do you think?
Well, I think that's a marvellous idea, and I found, we talked about making it. I found this little old book in my needlework
Look at those
table.
lovely designs.
And these are all designs which can be used for any kind of stitch, but that particular one I think is lovely because it's got crowns on it.
What I wanted, Geraldine, I thought for now I'll do a crown and something for the royal wedding.
Oh, that's a lovely
And then,
idea.
you see, when I'm dead and gone, people come into my house and they'll see the date on the bell pull.
If it's still hanging together.
Have you had the design passed? That's the thing.
My goodness.
You think of that, did you?
Oh, my goodness me.
We'll have to send it up,
Let's
Anne.
have a look now.
Well, I did that one first. No, I think I did that one second, which is a slight variation, but I don't think that's the correct crown for a prince. Do you?
I've no idea.
You know, I wonder whether it should be the other one, which is on the other side.
Listen, that's wider than the peach.
Yes, but you see, your threads of canvas are only so many to the inch. And I had that in mind when I was doing it, you see.
Yes.
So that each of those crosses will be correspondingly smaller.
Yeah.
How about the Prince of Wales plumes on the top?
Oh, I can't go into things. It's got to be
Too
straight
difficult.
lines. What's the time?
I see.
I want the crown, the 1981, the heart,
And the C
their
and D.
initials.
Yes.
Now, what shall I do it in, Marion?
Well-
I've got this gold thread. This is
That'd be
new.
lovely.
Yes.
This is a very new thread.
Is it?
So if I
Yes.
do some gold,
It's round, is it?
it's,
Yes, it is.
It
Yes.
is round,
Yes.
but it's got a polyester core.
Yes.
So it's, you know,
Yes.
it's all right.
I've used a similar one for lace. I brought these along because I didn't really know which
Well, I ought to have.
thickness.
I've got to have red to go with the tassel.
Yes, but it won't have to be this red, will
That's
it?
it's too bright,
Let's
isn't it?
try that one.
Though a little bit, of course, can be a distance away with the grey between.
But won't I have to get? I'll have to get the same thickness threads as the gold.
You will,
Yes.
really.
It's
Yes.
much finer, isn't it?
Yes.
Than the red.
You might need to use the gold double, in fact, because it's not terribly strong for sewing, is
Oh
it?
right. Well, that's a good idea.
Yes.
And if I do some
That's silk,
cream.
is that silk?
What about
Yes.
what
It's
about
lovely.
beads? Do you think I
yes,
need to add
definitely.
beads?
Yes.
No.
Oh, that looks
Beads
nice
as
for
well?
jewels. Yes. For the wedding.
Pearls. I could do pearls, beading. I could. Oh,
You could, couldn't you?
it could be really, really luscious.
I want to see it when it's finished.
Well, she's
I'll-
only got
I'll
till
get on
to
with
July, hasn't she?
That's it.
all, yes.
I'll do it. I'll start.
I think it's going to be lovely.
I'll
whatever
start.
it is.
You don't want me to do it now, do you?
I wanted to tell
No,
you.
my fisherman's box of beads.
You're not letting me tell you what I
Fisherman
want to
put
tell
worms in there.
you. You mean she knows?
Go
I'll
on.
listen,
I know
I'll listen,
exactly
I
what you're trying
promise.
to tell me.
I don't know. What
I
are you
do.
trying to tell us,
Well,
Sarah?
Anne knew that I'd been agonising about this article I had to write.
But you're writing articles all the time.
It was my first feature article for a magazine, that's something that comes out weekly, and I generally write for part works, things that people collect that don't have
Yes.
any, you know, particularly current interest. And anyway, I have done it, and I have delivered it.
At the last
You knew
minute,
that, didn't you?
I hope.
Sarah, what
Yes.
exactly is a feature article when you're writing about something or about a specific
Yes, it's
subject?
well. In this case, it was an article about something of current interest, where I had to do research with people who were actually involved in the problem now. It's for a young teenage magazine.
Oh,
for,
yes.
15 to 20-year-olds, but basically the younger age group. And it was about kids who run away from home, who go to the big cities, you know, hoping to find the gold,
Whatever.
the pots of
Yes.
gold. Yes.
Yes.
And in fact, the
Romance.
dangers that they come up against.
Was it your idea to write this, or were you asked to do it?
No, I was asked to do
Were
it,
you?
in fact, yes. I met the editor, and she then rang me up a couple of weeks later.
Must
and
have
asked me
make you feel very proud. I think I would be if
to-
someone
I
said,
was
"Would you do
absolutely
it?"
thrilled, but also extremely nervous, because it's not the kind of research I'm used to. I'm used to going to books,
Yes, this
and
is
established
personal.
sources.
Very
Yes.
personal research, isn't it? Research into people's lives.
Yes.
Were there things that you found out from people you spoke to that you couldn't include in the article?
No.
You were able to use everything that
I was
you
able
found
to use
out?
everything that people told me.
Anonymously.
Yes, but I found it very difficult, actually, having also just given up smoking, actually having to get on the phone to people I'm so used to when I'm doing something tough, or what I consider tough, phoning up somebody I don't know
Good
to
girl,
ask
giving up
information
smoking.
without a cigarette was extremely difficult. And I had to phone, for instance, the police force in Birmingham
Gracious.
without knowing exactly who to ask to be put through to.
Did you find out what, did your research lead you to some conclusions about what children should be told about going away from home,
Well,
if they can be reached?
emphatically not to leave home
Really?
unless you've made some plans.
yes.
Because if you first of all, if you have nowhere to live, you're in danger. And kids come to London thinking that they can find a flat for £10 a week, and in fact it's unrealistic to think of anything under £30 a week.
Is that so?
And the hostels are booked up months in advance.
Are they?
And jobs, as we all know, are very difficult to find. So, I mean, kids find themselves in really desperate situations.
Not only that, lots of people leave home under a cloud, don't they? A big defiant gesture, I'm leaving, that's it. And that is so wrong, I feel, because you're not being objective about things. You're so caught up in your own emotions to actually have to wait and then start again.
At that age, you often are, aren't you?
Yes.
15,
Yes.
16.
I spoke to somebody who runs a night shelter for young people, and in Manchester this was, and he was saying young people are in great danger. He said nobody's going to offer an old man without a room, a place for the night, but young people are just attractive because they're young. So somebody's going to say, you know, come on, I'll give you a bed for the night, and you know, it's just pure luck whether they are actually kindly or whether their intentions are evil.
It sounds horrifying to me.
Did you hear the lovely hash she made?
Yes, I am.
It smells good.
It smelled lovely anyway. Yes.
How's your mother, Geraldine?
How's my mother? She is.
Sorry, Elizabeth.
She is quite well in herself.
Is she?
Move this way, Bella.
she's very happy as far as she can be happy.
Oh, that's lovely.
But I didn't know that there was anything the matter with her.
Yes, she's in hospital. She's been in hospital for 17 months now, and she won't come home. We were told that all about 5 years ago, that this is where she would end up. And for a long time, I found it very, very difficult to even talk about it. I couldn't talk to anybody about it because it hurt so much.
Yeah. What about the fact that she was ill or that she would never come home?
I accepted the fact that she was ill when we were first told it. You go along with this each day. You watch the changes come on, and I was praying for the day when she would be taken into hospital, because I felt that was where she would get the best treatment. My father couldn't look after her, and she wouldn't let me look after her.
Geraldine,
It's very often
I'm
the way,
very
isn't
pleased to hear that you're talking about your mother,
Yes.
because I think that's helping her a
Yes.
lot. And the last time I asked you, you really didn't want to say
No.
anything, Joel. Don't you think it helps a lot to talk
And I
about
tell
things
you that I thought, and I've known you slightly for, I mean, a long time before you came to Italy for tea, I didn't think your mother was alive. I thought you only had
Well,
father.
that
So
was
it's
it.
good, isn't it?
Yes.
I must say, I understand your problem, because I find it very difficult to talk about
Your mother.
problems.
Your
My
mother.
Don't talk about me, darling.
But problems of you anyway. Thank you, that's mine.
It was the facing up to it, though, that made it easy. And I
Yes,
think
of
that must be
course.
so important. Lots of people go through things in their lives that are very difficult to understand or even to
You know, like pushing
accept.
things under the carpet.
Yes, yeah. And
I
when
think
I
because-
actually faced it and went to see her and saw that she was fine, then it was much easier for me.
So what did you come to terms with, Sarah?
No, I was remembering when I was in a job that I found particularly horrific. I couldn't actually talk to anybody about how miserable I was doing the job. I would just say, oh, everything's fine. And it was only when I finally decided that I was going to leave, I mean, it had got that bad that I decided I was going to leave, that I could talk about it. And I remember coming home after having made the decision and virtually falling asleep on the bus with the release and tension. Actually, but I couldn't have talked about it when it was a problem I didn't know how to solve.
But, Cherry, I remember you saying to me, I don't like talking about having been married before. I hate it. And she said, why must you only ever talk about your successes?
Did I say that?
Yes, she'll say wise sometimes.
Oh, did
She's
terribly
apart from
wise.
messing up my hashes and things. But it's quite,
Let's
you
have some
feel
cake.
it's some kind of reflection on yourself to admit to something that's...
Well, I don't know. There are occasions. One time in my life, Alan was offered a job
Cherry,
in
I wanted
Canada.
that one.
Oh, have it. I thought you didn't want a cream cake.
There are two.
Sorry, Marion.
It's all right. Alan was offered a job in Canada, and I literally didn't know how I was going to tell my parents, you know, that we might be going to Canada to live. And I think perhaps it was a dread. I knew that my mother in particular would take it badly, which she did. But it just shows the folly of meeting things halfway, because in actual fact he was offered a job down here at the same time, and he chose to take this one.
I know Vida said she had a great problem in telling me over the phone that Sarah was having a baby. She was ringing me from you can imagine what a problem it was. I picked up the telephone. I said...
Well, that's again something I didn't talk about at all.
And Vida said to me, I said...
It's all right laughing, isn't it, Sarah?
How pregnant is Sarah? She said, 6 months. I said, why didn't you tell me before, Vida? She said, I thought she'd been eating too many sandwiches.
Well, again, I mean...
So you see.
I mean, initially I was unhappy about being pregnant, so I couldn't talk about it. It was only when I came to terms with it that I could actually tell people.
Go away, isn't it? That's the trouble.
Do you know,
That's a good thing.
for years, on and off, I've had conversations with a close friend about the fact that what worries me is that I really can only do one thing and can only talk about one thing knowledgeably. I haven't got much general knowledge, you see.
Oh, rubbish.
But I know I'm an expert at the craft that I've got. And at last, a few years ago, I came to terms with the fact that that's it, and I'm concentrating on it, and I'm ever so much happier. I'm not striving to be learned about other things.